Good evening, wanderer. You've found me once again, here in the quiet dark, where the Codex waits to be opened. I am Celine, keeper of the Whispered Codex. Tonight is a special night, for the Codex glows warmly. Not every story within the Codex is heavy with sorrow and shadow. Some are soft as velvet, spun only to soothe, to calm, to cradle you as sleep draws near. Tonight you will experience that firsthand. Tonight, the Codex welcomes you into its embrace for an evening of exploration within the Clockmaker's Atelier. For a brief moment, the Codex shimmered so bright. You closed your eyes, and when you open them again, you find yourself on a narrow street, crooked and cobbled, stones dark and slick from the light rain. The damp scent of wet stone and earth fills your nostrils as you take a deep breath. You detect a hint of smoke and the pleasant aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from a nearby bakery. As you continue to walk forward, the faint sweetness of lavender trailing from some unseen corner gently caresses you. Somewhere behind you, a lone drain spout still drips in a patient rhythm, while the pitter-patter of a light, lingering drizzle paints the quiet all around. You look up at the sky and see the scattered rain clouds slowly drifting, allowing strands of twilight seeping through its gaps. The twilight drapes its violet and indigo tendrils across the sky, as the last threads of daylight dances on the edges of the tilted rooftops. As light wanes, the street lamps begin to flicker to life one by one. That's when you feel a gentle, inexplicable pull within you, an urge to walk forward, and so you do. At the end of the street, you see what could only be your destination, a little shop glowing warmly through its frosted glass windows, a soft amber light spilling out into the mist. The glow is golden and kind, like honey caught in lamplight, a quiet promise of welcome. You pause just for a moment, and that is when you hear it. A faint, layered chorus of ticking. Hundreds of clocks breathing softly in time, their delicate voices weaving together into a hypnotic lullaby that seems to beckon you closer. The mist curled thick at your feet, softening the world in a quiet blur, dampening your every footstep toward the shop. The alluring glow deepens, its light spilling into the fog, dancing and twirling like delicate fingers beckoning you closer. You walk forward step by step until finally, there you are, in front of the shop, a little brass doorknob waiting to be turned. The door opens the sound of a welcoming bell, alerting the shopkeeper of the arrival of a new patron. You step in and feel an immediate warmth caress your weary body. The soft rush of air greets you, bringing with it a subtle aroma of beeswax and lavender, mixed with a sweet, rich musk of a wood you cannot identify. You draw a long breath as you take in the shop and feel a sense of calmness, safety, and comfort. As you take the sight in, you clearly see that this was no ordinary shop, but an atelier of a master craftsman. The room stretches on further than what seemed possible, with every shelf and wall covered in clocks of all shapes and sizes. Clocks of every kind, every shape, every age. Delicate brass skeletons of intricate gears and coils that glitter faintly in the golden light. Rich mahogany cases inlaid with mother of pearl, gleaming like moonlight caught in dark water. Tall crystal columns housing fragile glass wheels that seem to glow faintly from within. They tick and murmur and chime all around you, each voice unique and yet perfectly harmonious. The air itself feels alive with their rhythm, like 100 hearts all beating together, filling the room with an invisible warmth. Here and there, a tiny chime rings out, soft as silver rain. Somewhere a low whir begins and fades again. It is a music of quiet industry, of patience and purpose, woven so finely that you can almost feel it pressing lightly against your skin, draping over you in time with your breath. The light in the atelier is golden, but you see no candles, no lamps. It simply glows, as though the air itself has learned to shine. And there, at the far end of the room, a man sat behind a long, polished workbench scattered with delicate tools, bits of brass and crystal, and half-made masterworks. At first, he did not move, but then he lifts his head to look at you, his eyes calm, dark, and endless, steady as the ticking that surrounds you. He gives you a warm and gentle smile. "Welcome, wanderer, to my atelier." The man's voice carried a velvet timbre, low, warm, and timeless. "Ah, right on time. I must admit, you wear the mist well." He wipes his hands on a soft cloth, though they are already immaculate, and steps out from behind the bench. His movements graceful but deliberate, as if every motion he makes has been measured to just the right length. "I imagine you have questions," he continues, his smile widening just slightly as he comes closer. "Most do. So allow me to answer a few before you even ask." His voice is soothing yet precise, every syllable polished like his tools. "You may call me the Clockmaker, and this is my atelier. Though to say it is mine is a touch of vanity. I prefer to think of myself as a steward, a caretaker. Of what, you ask? Why, of these little instruments you hear murmuring all around you, and on nights such as this, of those who find themselves here, like you." His eyes glint faintly, and he gestures broadly to the shelves. "Every clock you see here keeps its own rhythm, each one a little miracle of balance and breath. If you have come in search of answers, I have none to sell. But if you have come in search of rest, or to lose track of what hour it is and simply be—" He chuckles softly, and it is a warm, dry sound, dusted faintly with wryness. "Well, then you've come to the right place." The faintest tick of laughter shines in his dark eyes as he watches you take in his words. "Take all the time you need," he adds, gesturing invitingly to the velvet bench near the window, then to the shelves that stretch into the quiet dark. "There's no rush here. Browse as you like. Sit. Let your thoughts slow to a more comfortable tick. Even the most carefully wound hearts need to unwind." He steps aside, returning to his bench, though his gaze lingers on you kindly as his hands resume adjusting a tiny, glimmering gear. He gives you the smallest nod of encouragement, and already you feel something loosening in you, something that has been too tightly wound for far too long. "Now then, traveler," he murmurs, without looking up from his work, "do go on. Enjoy the moment. That's what it's for." And the layered ticking of the atelier rises again around you, warm and hypnotic, as though the clocks themselves approve. You drift through the atelier, senses keen and unhurried, the warm golden hush wrapping around you like a velvet cloak. The ticking surrounds you in countless tones, high, low, sharp, soft, each clock carrying its own quiet voice, none louder than a whisper. Your fingers trail along the polished edge of a shelf, catching on the faint texture of wood grain worn smooth by centuries of care. Every step you take carries you deeper into this sanctuary of time, and every breath seems to grow slower, easier, quieter. To your left, nestled on a velvet cushion, you see a clock no larger than your palm, a brass oval so perfectly formed it gleams like a drop of sunlight. Its casing is etched with fine, delicate scrollwork that shimmers faintly in the golden light. You pick it up, and immediately it begins to tick in the soft rhythm of a resting heart. Not yours at first, but as you stand there, you feel your own pulse adjust, falling gently into step with its calm, steady beat. The sensation blooms in your chest like warmth, like a weight unfastened, like breath returning to a quiet rhythm you'd forgotten you knew. Ah, you found that one, he murmurs, a faint smile in his tone. The heart's ease, I call it, one of my finer little creations. The scroll of a silver file in his hand pauses, and he glances up briefly, his dark eyes glinting faintly as they meet yours. She has a singular purpose, he continues, his voice as even and measured as the ticks around you. For those who come here wound too tightly, carrying their hours like stones in their chest. She helps you remember what calm feels like, slows the hands of your heart, just enough for you to catch your breath. You feel the faintest of tremors in the clock's warm body, as if it approves of his words. The clockmaker's smile deepens, just slightly. I suppose you could say she takes things down a tick, he adds softly, the faintest glimmer of wry humor in his eyes, before they return to his work. And in your hand, the heart's ease continues its quiet, restful rhythm, steady and kind, as the golden light of the Atelier hums all around you. You gently return the heart's ease to its velvet cushion, its golden surface catching the light one last time as it settles into place. To your quiet surprise, the calm it brought you lingers still, as though the gentle rhythm of its ticking has woven itself into your own chest. And even without the clock in your hand, you can still feel its steady, soothing beat within you. You walk a bit further and notice on a high shelf above, just beyond your reach, a faint shimmer, catching the light like water. You step closer, craning your neck, and there it rests, a crystal sphere, perfectly round, its surface so clear it seems almost unreal. Within it, silver liquid moves in slow, mesmerizing motion. Droplet by droplet, it falls through the center in an endless cascade. Each drop releases the faintest, sweetest chime as it falls. So subtle you almost feel it more than hear it. A quiet vibration in your chest that seems to ripple through the hush of the atelier. You stand there, transfixed, watching the droplets gather, fall, reset themselves, again and again. With every fall, the air seems to grow cooler, cleaner, as though the weight of something unseen is being gently washed away. A delicate chill settles into your skin, not unpleasant, but crisp, pure, as though something heavy inside you has been rinsed clean. Behind you, the clockmaker's voice rises through the golden quiet, smooth and unhurried, yet carrying easily across the room. Ah, the cascade, he says, his dark eyes glancing up from his workbench, catching yours for just a moment before returning to the tiny gear in his hands. One of my most meditative pieces. I always thought the sound of water was better suited to calm the mind than to mark the hour. He chuckles faintly, the corners of his mouth curling into a dry smile. She keeps no time, you see. No hands, no numbers, no end. She simply renews, drop by drop, washing away what doesn't serve you anymore. Another chime sounds, faint and sweet, and the clockmaker tilts his head slightly, as though listening to her song himself. Some clocks are here to measure your hours, he adds softly. And some, his eyes glint faintly as they flicker back to you, are here to remind you that not every moment must be counted. The cascade continues its endless falling, a quiet, silvery lullaby, and the cool stillness she brings remains with you, cleansing you one drop at a time. In a shadowed corner, half hidden by the glow of neighboring shelves, you notice a disk of deep onyx, smooth and dark as the sky just before dawn. Its surface gleams faintly in the golden light, but no hands, no markings disturb its perfect blackness. Unlike the others, it makes no sound at all. You step closer, curious, and with each inch, the layered ticking around you softens, a gradual hush, as though the clocks themselves are bowing into silence in deference to this quiet presence. Closer still, and the last faint rhythms fall away entirely, until there is nothing left but the sound of your own breath. The silence is not empty, but full somehow, rich and soft and comforting, humming faintly just at the edge of hearing. A lullaby woven of nothing at all. The onyx disk seems to drink in the light, pulling it into its depths, and you cannot help but linger there, letting the silence wrap itself around you like a cool, steady embrace. From across the atelier, the clockmaker's voice finds you, low and knowing, carried easily through the hush. Ah, that one. There's a faint, wry note of amusement beneath his calm tone, and though his eyes remain on his workbench, his words are clearly meant for you. She's a quiet little wonder, isn't she? The silent style. Doesn't mark the hour, doesn't keep the beat. She just takes it all away, every last tick. For some who come here, it's the first true silence they've heard in years, and for others, here his smile deepens, ever so slightly. It's just nice to finally hear themselves think. It hums gently all around you, as though the very air is breathing in time with you. And you can't help but let it hold you there, wrapped in stillness. Farther down the row, something catches your eye. A dial of midnight blue glass set into a low pedestal, its edges catching the golden light like the rim of a moon. It turns slowly, lazily, and as it does, faint sparks of starlight drift up from its surface. Tiny motes of silver and white glimmer and float in the warm air, like fragile fireflies, and when you run your fingers just above the glass, the motes gather there as though drawn to you. They cling to your skin for a moment, cool and delicate, before slipping free again, dancing away into the quiet. The air here smells faintly of something cool and distant, a metallic tang, subtle but unmistakable, like the scent of the night sky itself when the stars are sharp and the wind is clear. She likes to reach for you, he continues, the faintest note of dry humor threading through his tone. All those little stars clinging to your hands? They say she chooses her own constellations every time someone visits, and she's rather good at it. And before you, the celestial dial turns on, unhurried, sending its motes of silver and white drifting lazily into the quiet air, as though the sky itself were breathing through your fingers. You continue exploring the atelier, taking in the clocks of all shapes and sizes. You never knew that there could be such beauty in time. That's when it caught your eye. There beneath a glass dome at the center of the atelier was a magnificent clock of pale opalescent. It shimmered lightly of lavender and blue, its surface like moonlight on still water. Its hands never moved, yet the moment you step closer, your eyelids grow heavy, your breath deepens, and your thoughts begin to dissolve, quiet and slow, as though drawn into its calm. The faint glow it casts is soft and drowsy, and you feel your body sinking gently toward the dreamless hush it offers. One of my personal favorites, the sleep keeper, he murmurs, the gentlest of them all. I made her for those who've carried too many restless nights, those who've forgotten how it feels to simply let go. He leans back slightly on his stool, regarding you from across the golden hush, watching you sway under the sleep keeper's influence. She has no hands to mark the hour, no chime to wake you. She simply waits. And when you come to her, she does what she was made to do. She keeps your sleep safe, quiet, dreamless, for as long as you need. He lets the words settle before adding, almost to himself, the faintest curl of a smile at his lips. Some clocks measure time. And some, he says, his gaze lingering on you a moment longer, simply make it disappear. The other clocks murmur faintly again, but softly, respectfully, as the sleep keeper's glow continues to bathe you in its pale calm. You feel your body growing heavier in the most pleasant way, ready to surrender into a dreamless slumber. From behind you, the clockmaker rises from his bench at last. His footsteps are slow but sure, measured like everything about him, and he stops a few paces away, regarding you with those steady, knowing eyes. You're already halfway there, aren't you? Can't say I'm surprised. She does have that effect. His words seem to drift through you, settling like a hush in your bones. Then he straightens, slipping his hands into his waistcoat pockets, and his gaze softens further. Something patient, something eternal in the way he looks at you now. You may return whenever you wish, he says gently, his eyes glinting faintly. There are many more clocks here, each with its own special little quirk waiting for you to discover. This place, this hour, it will always be waiting for you. The clocks begin to recede into a soft blur and find yourself within the quiet dark once again. The Codex closes for now, but there is always another tale to tell. So rest well, wanderer. Until we meet again in the quiet dark, may you sleep deeply and dream warmly. If you enjoyed tonight's tale, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our podcast so you never miss a new story. I shall be waiting there in the quiet dark with another story just for you.